Hi guys, good morning. This is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon through a monthly subscription, thank you so very, very much. Anybody that's interested in going to patreon.com, you can choose a monthly subscription and receive the daily forecast a day early. There's also other readings that are available only over there, depending on the level of subscription that you choose. If you go to patreon.com and look up Engelgeist, you can look through things there. If you have any questions, feel free to direct them either here on the video or you can message me at my business page on Facebook. Also, any inquiries about private readings would be sent to the Facebook business page. I can answer your questions there. I am available for those. They're usually done over the phone or Facebook video, a messenger video, whichever you prefer. So this is a broad spectrum reading for anybody who may see it, so you're allowed to utilize it in whatever way you see fit. It is for the highest good of the greater collective, therefore it is a timeless message. It is originally being intended and made for November 17th. We will be talking about the cards that went previous to it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to watch it only on November 17th. If you happen to see it on a date that's not that date, that's fine. I would watch the video and see if it actually pertains or gives you some insight or validation, support, or whatever for a situation that may be going on in your life. I believe that Spirit has a way of finding the right messages to us in the right timing, and the more that we trust that and look for the signs and symbols, the more that they become apparent and available to us. So, that being said, if none of this makes sense to you or it doesn't fit in your life, that's also completely fine. It doesn't mean Spirit's not talking to you or giving you signs. It just might mean that you are working on something different at this time, and that's totally fine. If this does work for you or does resonate, it makes sense, you can apply it to your life in certain areas of your life. If you make any decisions after having watched this video in your day-to-day life, those decisions are your responsibility. So always trust your own intuition first and foremost, your own intelligence, and utilize that, your own best thinking kind of thing. I use my readings to help support you in things that you may already know or understand, and I think you guys get the drift. Alright, so we're looking at Tuesday, November 17th. We're going to see what's going on in the cards. What do we need to know about? What can we take away or utilize or be aware of? Let's see. Remembering also that we're still in that new moon energy from Scorpio, so it's time for putting together what it is that we want. Oh wow, okay. Interesting. Seven of Swords. So we have, I feel like we had the Seven of Wands on Saturday, we had the Seven of Cups on Sunday, and now we have the Seven of Swords. Too bad we're not in Vegas, right? Seven of Swords tends to be kind of like the thievery. Thievery, is that even a word? It can be kind of like the thievery card. Usually it kind of indicates that something's going on in the background that we may not be aware of. I've heard it referred to as the liar, cheater, stealer card, just as a really overall quick reference, and that kind of is the Seven of Swords. If we look at this cat, he's kind of being sly. He's taking this bird off with him. If we see those swords are sort of hidden in the bird's plumage, right? We've got 5 swords here, and then there's these 2 swords here in sort of the attack. And I kind of feel like we also have crow in the background, which signifies sort of law or doing the right thing, or at least in my opinion. So when I look at that, it's sort of maybe those things have been left behind. We may have a traitor in our midst. I mean, I never like to predict bad things, but there might be somebody that's not being upfront or honest with us. We might be dealing with that person. We could be the dishonest person if in some way, shape, or form we are maybe not telling the whole truth or lying by omission or, you know, making things up to serve our purposes over the purposes of others. That could be going on with this card. I will say this, we had that Seven of Cups on Sunday, right, which is the underpinning of the beginning of the week, which is usually about the first 2 days of this week. So if some of you are confused and maybe you don't know the truth, you know, for those of you that might be, you know, I don't want to say fibbing, but that's kind of like the truth of this card, is that we might be lying to ourselves, we could be lying to another person, or We could be being lied to, right, by another person, right, or ourselves. Let's just fit it all in there. So, when I look at this, it kind of makes me feel like, for those of you that are lying to yourselves or to another person, there's a little bit of guilt involved. I think that we're aware of our actions. This cat looks a little bit guilty as he skulks off with this bird. This golden bird to me kind of represents opportunity. Like we may be pinching ourselves off at the sort of, I don't know why I want to say at the throat, but it sort of feels like we might be pinching ourselves off, and maybe at the throat. Maybe some of us aren't communicating what we need or telling the truth in a situation, and maybe that's why I'm using the word throat. Or we're not being spoken to in a way that we know is authentic by somebody that matters to us. Whatever is going on for us, we need to be aware of this. Now, I will say this, there's let me show you, the orange poppies here always to me, and I believe to MJ too, I can't remember, we'll read in the book, but MJ the artist, I believe these represent sort of growth and new beginnings and that sort of thing. So what I do feel like is this isn't all bad, I will say that. There is, you know, some rolling hills in the background, which to me always sort of signify the opportunity for struggle or challenge, right? And it looks like we're beyond that. Now, is the situation completely gone yet? Not really. It's coming more to light. Our awareness is coming more available to us. And that in and of itself is a gift. That's clearing away the clouds, which would be the fog, or not seeing everything clearly. The law of the crow is coming in, or the awareness of the crow, the higher perspective of being able to see things from a different perspective and maybe become aware of where the lies may be. And this, like I said, it could be the lies of someone else, or the, you know, the sort of misgivings of someone else, or our own, right? Where we might be doing this to ourselves in some way, shape, or form. But when I look at this golden bird, I kind of feel like whatever is being gained here, we're taking a loss in the gain, right? So what I mean by that is this cat is getting a meal out of this deal, right? Out of this sort of, I don't know if I want to call it destructive behavior, but out of this sort of self-serving behavior. And whoever this cat is, right? This could be us or another person. They're sort of not realizing that they're stifling a bigger situation, or something that's sort of what this golden bird to me represents. There's this opportunity here that in an effort to maybe stay safe or keep what they have in play, I'm not exactly sure. They are, it's almost like cutting off their nose to spite their face feeling. And we may be doing this to ourselves, keeping that, you know, you have to apply this where it fits in your life. Swords is very much a mental energy, right? So our thoughts could be limiting ourselves in some way. We could be lying to ourselves or to others through the thoughts that we keep, the perceptions that we keep. And this also might be adding to some of that confusion energy. Yesterday's GRIMALKIN card felt very hopeful. So it's interesting that we shift back into this, but this might be some of the work that we're doing with that Seven of Cups, not knowing which way to go, not knowing where the truth is. I do feel like for those of you that are being lied to, right, where you're not necessarily, and I don't necessarily mean that the lying is always a bad thing. It might be for somebody's survival, right? Or somebody might see it as a means to an end that helps them or everybody around them, right? Like they may not know, and we may not know if we're the ones doing the lying. Maybe we think we're keeping someone safe by not telling them the full truth, right? But in some way, we're sort of ruining this golden bird of an opportunity. So where was I going with this? Sorry, I just lost that thought when I was looking at that bird. I sort of feel like, I can't remember what I was saying, damn it. I have somewhere to go with that and I just totally lost the train. I'm sorry. Let me reconnect 1 second. I don't know if I can get it back now. I just feel like we are cutting off our nose to spite our face. Be mindful of that. Be mindful of, I think that there's an opportunity here for us to get a higher perspective and to see this. And for those of us that are being lied to, that's what I was going to say. For those of us For those of us that might be being lied to in a situation, we're going to become more aware of it today. And this will be sort of the opportunity where we might be able to clear away some of that confusion by being able to see what's on the board more clearly. So I don't see this as a bad card. That's the poppies growing in the field that the cat is sitting in, right? Even though the damage has been done, or the steal has happened, the lie has happened, wherever that lie is coming from, there's still this opportunity to gain awareness and clarity around this. Sevens are also about choices. Remember that too, making actual conscious choices towards something. If we've chose consciously to lie, or if someone has chose consciously to lie to us, we have to take that into effect and factor that in, right? And act from that place. But those lies, when they become clearer or more apparent to us, wherever they're coming from, we then become all the more adept at brushing away that confusion that sits in that Seven of Cups underneath. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense, guys. Now, I'll just go on. I'm going to shuffle this deck really quick. What I am going to say about this is some of us, I don't want you guys to be all like, oh, who's the thief, who's the liar, and on edge all day. This could be about us sort of not acting in our own best interests. So keeping that in mind too, this isn't like a horrible card, it's just sort of a card that we have to consciously choose to see the situation as it is, to be honest with ourselves as much as possible, to be honest with those around us as much as possible, and then to act from that honesty, ideally. I kind of get the funny feeling too, as I'm saying that to you, I'm looking at this bird, and this bird is not dead. Like, if we are honest, if we have any control over this situation, if we can release this bird, the bird will fly again. This golden bird. And I feel like this golden bird is an opportunity. And like, for some of us, I look at this cat and it's like he's acting out in fear. Maybe fear of the unknown, fear of, maybe something better won't come along. And because of that fear, that's also what causes him to feel justified in his behavior or his actions, whether they're duplicitous or not, right? So some of these people, if some of us are experiencing liars around us or situations that we're not being told the whole truth, in some way, I believe that these situations feel justified, and so they may not necessarily be bad people per se, quote unquote. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's where that crow perspective of the higher law or the higher understanding, taking this awareness or this understanding and utilizing it to our advantage, is key today. It helps to clear away the confusion, but it also helps us to make a better, higher perspective decision regarding whatever is going on. All right, so we've got, oh, hello. So we've got the sun. This is actually on the cover of the deck, I believe, on the box. So this is number 23, which boils down numerically to a number 5. Fives are also about change. Choice to me in the 7, right? And then we've got change. So I love this sun in the sense that sun to me always takes me to the sun card in tarot, even though this is an oracle deck. What I like about this is it's the sun is usually represented by the energy of Leo, which is a very, I would say, forgiving energy, generous energy, loving, sort of gregarious mindset. The sun also gives energy and is affirmative to a lot of different things. It sheds light onto situations. And again, we see this sort of light being shed in the 7 of Swords, right? Even if we like the light, or we maybe don't like the light, maybe we don't want the truth to come out, or when the truth comes out, it gives us a perspective that we don't necessarily enjoy or like. But ultimately, I feel like the sun is coming in to give us this benefit of the change or the steps that need to be taken to induce the change. This is the very beginnings of that, right? And remember, we see that 6 of Wands at the end of the week. I feel like the sun is sort of what's shining on us as we move towards that 6 of Wands. I love how the sun is on this sort of blue depicted card, so it's more of a cooler, easier transition. It's not fiery or intense, right? We have more of the fiery energy in the yellows and oranges of the other card. And I also like the vining of this sun, like it permeates everything. So allowing this sun or this light to kind of come in and touch all corners of whatever this situation may be, however uncomfortable it may be for us, is going to benefit us and also induce that change. It's going to help us to better see our situation where we may be aren't being true to ourselves or with another, or where they're not being true with us. And it's going to give us that fresher, higher perspective. I do want to say this, the quicker we release this, guys, and I'm getting a kind of a dual read on this cat right here, the quicker we release this, and what I mean by release is whether we're being the ones lied to by an outside source or we're the ones lying to ourselves or to another, the quicker we stop the lie or we release the lie or we forgive the lie. And I'm not saying that means allow that person to stay in your life and continue to lie to you, but what I'm saying is once you find that forgiveness, you're able to release this bird. And this bird can maybe fly again. If we sit and we hold this in our mouth or we hang on to, say, and I'm using this as an example, say we're being lied to or we figure out something's not been upfront or as honest as it needs to be with us for the past few days. If we hold on to that resentment and that anger, that frustration, it's like we're clamping down on this bird and still killing it. And there's a freedom to be had from this Seven of Swords. There's an awareness to be had. There's a gift in all of this. I'm telling you that. That's also the sun card that's coming through. It wants to shed that light. So allow that light to be shed. All right, let's see what the grounding stone is. And the grounding stone is on obsidian, which is very much a negativity warding stone, right? So grounding in this dark, and I don't mean dark in a bad way, grounding in this sort of very extremely grounding stone, but also empowering stone. It will keep away any negativity, any frustration, any anger, all of that sort of stuff. We want to like sort of ground that down on grounding cord. This is about our energy, where our energy is at, being mindful of that, keeping it hopefully maintained and in a healthy manner, especially as we're dealing with these sort of things. For those of us that are looking at ourselves in this matter, then, you know, this is going to be key as to being clear and precise on where we're, you know, doing the wrong things or acting negatively. For those that are dealing with somebody outside of ourselves, this is for us to be able to stay strong while we deal with their negative behavior, but it will help to ward us off, ward it off. It will also keep our energy high and strong as we move forward. We also have that high, strong strength in that sun card, so allow that also to be your guide to lead you toward change within this situation. Now, let me read these. Sorry I've gone long, guys. I'm just surprised to see all of these sevens. There's a lot of sort of seven energy hitting us like in the last 4 days. So let's see, if we were in Vegas, man, we'd be banging it out with 777. So Seven of Swords. I love how she depicted this card though. I really love that golden bird too, because I feel like that is such an opportunity as I'm looking at it. All right, Seven of Swords is dedicated to Amanda the cat. The yellow bird is a cowardly act trying to get away with something, going after something on your own. The feathers are leaving evidence, placing blame on someone else. The sky is creating a sense of disharmony or friction, and the poppies are inner strength and relying only on yourself. The message, oh, that sly cat, knowing that killing birds in the park was frowned upon, the cat came up with the perfect plan that would allow him to enjoy an afternoon hunt and a light snack while at the same time frame his greatest rival. The energy centered around the Seven of Swords is that of going it alone, of making decisions that focus solely on your wants and needs, as you perceive yourself to be a bit of an island when it comes to the interests of others. And that's part of the thing about feeling justified that I was talking about, guys. It is the attitude that you don't need them and that they don't need you. When we go it alone, it becomes very easy to avoid things that we don't want to face, as the only person depending on us is ourselves. When the Seven of Swords appears in a reading, you may want to ask yourself if your current situation or query is being impacted by this lone wolf persona. Are you commandeering a project because you lack faith in others? Or perhaps you feel most comfortable when you are the one controlling all the shots. The Seven of Swords may also indicate getting away with something that someone else pays the price for. Be aware, someone's wicked deeds may leave you in a position that will require you to defend yourself. The energy attributes, the positive are self-reliant, independent, and able to create boundaries. The negative are dishonest, refusing to help others, and avoids difficulties. Let me go to the Sun, which was 23. The sun shines in its time where it is needed, without question, at one with those who need its light. The sun is the source of life that feeds the plants of this world, each plant knowing their place in the balance of life, playing their role as one and the same with no separation. The planet giving sun purpose and the sun sustaining the planet. When the light of the sun is absent to the plants due to dark storm clouds or change of position due to the seasons, the plants and trees of this world do not flourish. If the absence of the sun's light continues, the flora and fauna will wither, even wither and die. Could it be that as an empath, you play the same role to others? Your source of light that flows through you being the very knowing of the Creator, anchored to the earth in service to the sustaining properties of love. Ask yourself, do you hold a space of purposeful light unimpeded by judgment, or do you allow the storm clouds of others to affect your ability to shine? Even the seasons hold a time of energetic rest and renewal as the sun enters and leaves in its rotation. It is time to let your light move to its next purpose. Oh, is it time to let your light move to its next purpose? To let its illumination finish its season with whom you found yourself as a purposeful light, providing life-giving energy for them to flourish. By attaching conditions to whom and where you shine your light, by expecting a certain outcome, you are in actuality dimming your light. Step back and look at the situation with fresh eyes and look at the conditions and expectations surrounding the situation. And again, like I said, the sun, when we look at the situation and the limitations, the lies or the, untruths that might be being told by, not revealing everything. It may be people that are lying by omission, or ourselves even. We're not telling ourselves our full truth. Does that make sense? But when this light shines on it, when the truth sort of comes forward, hopefully we release this bird. I don't see this bird as a cowardly act. I see this bird, and I'm not trying to negate what the artist has put in here. I love MJ and her work, but to me, I really get this sense that this bird is still not dead yet. There's an opportunity within this bird to fly high and free again. We just need to allow ourselves through either the act of forgiveness or telling the truth to experience that. Oh, I just looked at the clock and it was 22:22 on the recording. All right, you guys, that is your forecast for the day. So I hope that you enjoyed it. Please leave me a comment or question. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the thumbs up sign and subscribe if you feel so inclined. I would love to have you here every morning. We will see tomorrow's forecast, and I will look. I will see you guys all tomorrow. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate all your viewership and your support. And please, like I said, feel free to leave comments or questions, or you can direct anything that you need, like questions-wise, to my Facebook business page, and I can answer them there. And I hope you guys are enjoying these. All right, have a great day. And don't allow this Seven of Swords to muck you up in any way, shape, or form. All right, bye-bye.